See, you got the compressor running there. It's in the, I think it's in the mid 40s now. So that's making some improvement. You saw the sun bright and sunny out, bright and shiny out there. So anyway, got this thing here glued up. I'm going to put breadboard ends on it, and I've only done breadboard ends one other time, and I did not do a good job with it. I actually glued it all the way across, and needless to say, it didn't. It's actually held up. What happened is the breadboard in the boards expanded out, so where it met up with the edges of the breadboard, it didn't line up anymore. But I'm surprised it didn't crack it or do something worse. But this time I'm going to use some 1/2 inch, since this is going to be kind of an industrial theme and it's got bolts all over those brackets. I'm going to use some 1/2 inch threaded rod and put them in there. I don't know, maybe 2 inches, 3 inches, something like that, and put them in with epoxy, and then put holes in through the outer edge of the breadboard in, and then put nuts on there, and oversize the holes in the breadboard part so that there's movement. So I think that'll work. I'm going to under drill the hole in here so that it sort of, threads in there tightly with epoxy on it. So I think that'll work well. And then this one the center one will get, completely, well, actually there's not a center one, but yeah, so I don't know. I may just do this one and do it, epoxy it on both sides, and then the ones on the outside of the center will be given some room to expand. All right, I'll keep making progress. I was using the grinder on this big beam here outside. You can see all the mess that cedar made running it through there. But we'll keep making progress and come back to show if we get anything more interesting going here. Just getting stuff done. You saw we got the compressor back going, and I was gonna, this is just kind of an example of some stuff I deal with. Somebody contacted me over the weekend via eBay and asked if I could make one of those cowboy stars, but make it larger and customize it. So I gave him a price, to make it larger, and then he came back and said, well, can you add America's team on there? And then he said, well, I don't know if I want it block lettering or I want it, script or whatever. And he goes, could you send me a couple of examples of what that would look like? So I quoted him $35 to add the custom letters, and I've looked on other websites at people that do the metal art work, like other people that sell those flags that I make. And they have prices like $10 per letter to get something custom added to the flag. And I just have a hard time doing that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would be $110 to just get that added, and which is more than the whole thing cost. And I think, the reason it is because, now that I got the format for those stars made, where the bolts get welded to the back and the through holes lining up and getting the 3-piece, layering working right. So you can see the through bolts that go through there, and yeah, I made them long so that I can get them bolted up and cut them off. But so there's 3 layers to the star, and then that I spent probably a day getting that set up correctly and where everything lined up, doing a few test ones, and going back to the machine. And so now when I'm just selling them to people, well, it's just a matter of doing production work, cut them out, paint them, bolt them together, pack them, ship them, for $59. Now this is an 18-inch one that the guy wanted, which I told him I think $120 for that. Then you come back and add something custom. Now over the weekend I probably traded I don't know, 4 or 5 different emails back and forth with him, asking questions. What about this font? What color should it be? And all that. And now I'm gotta text him and let him look at it one last time. And then when I get these, I gotta go in here, and everywhere that there's a disconnect, and even where they're connected, go in and connect those together properly, so there's enough of a connection point to make it all one word and stay together like these are. See how these are all connected together, and I'd already done that on those. You know, for $35. So when you add it all up, you know, I'm probably going to have probably 2 hours into it, maybe more, for $35, you know. So, I mean, $17 an hour. If you're just an hourly worker, okay, that's not a bad hourly rate, depending on where you are in the country, you know, for a fabricator type person. I really don't know how much, you know, fabricators make, an experienced one, you know, or somebody that's got my level of experience, which is, you know, not that much, but some. But I guess that just kind of comes with it, you know. I mean, some of these things you just end up chasing around. And so anyway, well, you saw the promo video with the girl there. We'll see how that works out. So far, the views, you know, are really good on it. No orders have come through off of it. But the one thing that came out of it is I had shared it on a welding forum, and I took tons and tons of heat. Nothing about the girl being in it, but when they saw the pictures of what the kit is, they really were hassling me over the burrs. You know, I'd be curious what you guys think. Is, you know, what I'm trying to do is, what I looked at was, okay, how can I keep the cost as low as possible, make a little bit of money, and get this produced? So what things need to be eliminated, still make it functional, and shift the work that would have to be done in the shop to the individual and turn it into a DIY kit. And the more work I can shift to the individual, the cheaper I can sell it for. And so so that means, you know, basically it's just a saw cut. You know, it comes right off the saw, and you can see my bandsaw leaves a pretty nice cut on most things. I mean, there's a tiny little burr hanging there, you know, and some things will get a little burr that just kind of hangs on. It doesn't come all the way off, but I mean, usually it'll just, you can kind of just flake it off with your hand, and it's not sharp. You know, it's not, you can see it's not cutting me. You just pull it off of there. Well, if I got to go take and deburr all those and clean them all up and get them ready, that's kind of, I mean, when I make something here, I have to do that. So if you're a fabricator at home, get the kit. That's part of fabrication. It's like when you get a model car set, you know, it doesn't come already taken out of the little plastic thing. No, you got to pop it out of there yourself and pop off the little hanging edges that are on it, and you know, all that. So I'd be curious what you guys think. You know, should these be deburred? You know, and another person said, I think they should be deburred and have the mill scale removed. Really now? You know how hard it is to remove all that mill scale? I mean, manually doing it it'd be impossible. It'd make it not worthwhile, and it would look crappy because you'd have grinder marks all over it. So chemically removing it, I mean, you see the backside of that. You know, I mean, this is just kind of the stuff you get. Sometimes you know, you get stuff at the steel yard and it looks that way. This is not going to affect the way it works. If you want to remove the mill scale from it, you can. I have videos on chemically doing that. So, you know, some of these have a little rougher burrs than others. But let me know what you think. Should the burrs be removed or not? And where does it stop? You know, burrs and then mill scale, and how about you just let me build it for you, and then you don't have to do anything with it, and then it's $200 instead of $69 including shipping. Shipping is about $10 to $12. So now all of a sudden at $57, eBay takes not eBay, but PayPal takes 3% of it, and you know, so by the time you take shipping and PayPal out of it, and then the cost of the actual materials, there's about $30 in profit. And it's not $30 in profit, there's labor that comes out of it. If I had to pay somebody, now I'm paying myself, but if I was paying somebody to do that, the $30, you know, is probably going to just about cover their salary, and then have a little bit of profit that would be generated to cover the shop, you know, electricity and consumables and grinding disc and bandsaw blades and tips for this and the power bill and all that. So anyway, it's an economics thing. I think some people told me when I was doing this that some fabrication shops struggle, and I can see why, why they do, and so, but some people have bought the kits and are happy to get it, and I've had a couple people sending me emails as they're building theirs and seem to be pretty excited about it. And I think once you get it and get it built, get the burrs off of it, get it put together, drill the holes, and make it work, you got to do the finish work. That's the hardest part of any of these jobs, really, is the finishing work, and that's the time consuming part. And that's where the opportunity for error comes into play, where, if you make a mistake, like in those big flags or even these, I've had a few of these that come back with, some crap in the paint. This one even right here has got something going on with it. So, am I going to touch that up? Am I going to just ship it as it is? Am I going to scrap it and make another one? That's where you really start burning through the money. And if people are paying lots and lots of money, okay, fine. But you're talking about, $59 for something that, there's probably, I would say there's probably about $20 worth of steel in that. Maybe $15 worth of sheet metal in that, because there's 3 stars in there, So anyway, enough rambling. Oh, here's this beam. I'm kind of trying to work on that. You can kind of get an idea of those table bases and how they work with 2 of them inverted, and the beam ends up going through that slot, and it raises it up to, I think it comes up to about 29 inches, and a standard table is 30 inches. So the top of this is at 29 inches, and then once you add the tabletop to it, which this one here is 1.5 inches roughly, and I'm making a couple more as well just to show some examples. But again, so this will be something I want to sell the kits on. I'm just doing the tabletops to show how, how it goes together, what it can look like, get some pictures, video of what it's going to look like. But I want to sell these. I'm going to come up with a weld together one, and this is a bolt together one. The weld together one's actually going to be, pretty inexpensive to do. This one ends up being a lot of cost in it because there's 64 holes that got drilled and tapped. So if we did all that here, that's a couple hours of manual machining. So that kind of adds to the price. But I'm going to do one with weld together and use like 1/2 inch plate here on that instead of 1 inch. And do it all on the plasma table. So the whole thing will be cut out. Just be a matter of cutting it and packing it and shipping it. And then you buy your own wood. A lot of DIY woodworkers that are in the garage that don't have welders, don't do metal work. Maybe they do have welders, but they're kind of simple at it. Or if they don't have welders, they could get the bolt together one and then make their own top with their table saw and the stuff that they have. So, man, 9 minutes worth of rambling there, guys. All right, I'm gonna get this one uploaded, and we will keep making progress and come back to show you when we have more. All right, thanks.